Welcome to Viking Spotlight. This is a podcast about people, events, and projects in the North Canton City School District. I'm your host, Jeff Wendorf. Today, we're thrilled to be talking to Kosta Volas. Kosta is a president of our senior high school class at Hoover High School. And thanks for joining us today, Kosta. Congratulations on your position as president of senior class. That's awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Wendorf. I'm happy to be here.
Great. You participated in a lot of activities. We'll go through those in a minute and so on, but you've taken a lot of classes and rigorous classes at the high school. And I know we chatted just a minute ago here pre-air, but AP Calc, AP Government, AP U.S. History, AP History, AP Physics, and a ton of other honors classes and so on. And I need to mention that Kosta is one of the kindest and most humble students in our Hoover High School, and he's smiling, and it's true, absolutely true. Kosta, we'll just jump into it here. What are your responsibilities as a senior class president, and what goals do you have for the high school?
Yeah, so I have many responsibilities as a senior class president. So one of those responsibilities is to organize and lead student council. Which is basically a student organization combined from grades 9 through 12 that helps organize school dances throughout the district. It helps with student and staff challenges. And also one big part of being a student class president is representing the senior class. And we also go to President's Council, and we meet with the principal on a regular basis, kind of going over how we can make the administration, how we can get more privileges to the students here at Hoover High School.
Great. So it sounds like you're the representative for the senior class and all the grade levels as far as student council, and kind of the chief relationship officer for the students in relationship to teachers and administration. Sounds like school dances are a big thing. I know that. They are. Lots of passion there and so on. Well, that's awesome. So there's a lot going on with that piece, and you're super busy. Not only you're president of the class, but you're in choir and school musicals, and encourage anybody that haven't seen a school musical in recent years, come and see them. You've been in the ones that I've been to, certainly on the speech and debate team and the newspaper staff and Link Crew. We'll ask you about Link Crew in a minute. And of course, student council, and a lot of activities outside of school that I understand, voice lessons and Greek dancing. Yeah. Right. And how do you balance all that as a successful high school student?
Well, it's very, very difficult. I do my best to manage my time. Time management is a very important skill that everybody should be learning. So just trying to find that healthy balance, trying to find that line between school and all my activities. There is a life outside of school, and I love spending time with my family and friends, but sometimes it is very challenging. I will get very stressed. Sometimes I'll crash after a lack of sleep because I'm always up burning the midnight oil with my homework. But, I really enjoy school. I enjoy the activities I do. I'm not just a part of them just to be a part of them. I am 100%. I give 110% effort in everything I do. And it just really makes it challenging because sometimes it can be very, very demanding. Sure.
I know we chatted, and last year you had no study halls and no lunch. Yeah. Even you were straight through from bell morning to end, and all your after school activities too. So how do you balance all that, and how do you make sure you deal with the stress and stay healthy, and any particular skills that you use?
Mm-hmm. So last year, like you said, it was very, very hard on me. But I find that having that one or two things that settles you and, just helps me get through the day, just taking that 5 or 10 minutes really to just relax, try and get your thoughts out. For me, I pray, 5 minutes in the morning to really root myself. And sometimes I get on the piano in the evenings, I just play. From classical to modern, I just like it because I find it very, very relaxing. It helps me get my mind off certain things. So like I said, just finding something to clear your mind really helps because, like I said earlier, it can't be school all the time. You have to find a way to balance those things.
Sure. So you do music and I assume dance a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So it's important. And I got to say to our listeners, when you see Kosta in the hallway or out in the community or something, he's always got this ear to ear smile, and it's just fantastic. And it makes you want to be around Kosta, and so thank you for that, because you brighten a lot of people's days, whether you know it or not, just by being around you and seeing a smile. And that's important as a leader, to freshmen who are walking in here. Now we're in week 2 of school, and I think the jitters are starting to come off, but you've talked a little bit about, those kind of things. But one of the things that is most fearful, I think, in most adults and most people, one of the biggest fears in the world is speaking in front of others. We had convocation with our 600 employees, plus or minus, and we asked our senior class presidents to come in and greet the staff at the beginning of the year. And I got to tell you, when you came in and you spoke, I think I offered you, hey, I'm just going to sit down and you can take the rest. Here's the clicker. You do the rest of the convocation. But speaking in front of others is really a talent and a skill that I think more kids need to learn, more adults need to learn.
So when you Google the definition of a teacher, it says, a person who teaches, especially in a school. Wow, technology. Thank you so much for that insightful definition. So why do we come to school when we could instantly get all this information from a computer? The answer is pretty simple. It is because of all of you. Sure, we love being here at school with all of our friends, but you are the backbone of making sure we are successful during these formative years of our life. Every person in this auditorium has had a significant impact on the entire student body. Teachers, coaches, counselors, custodians, secretaries, the lunch team, bus drivers. Every person working in this district helps make this a unique place that starts to shape who we will become. You are the inspiration and the beginning path to every student's future dream. And to quote a saying that stuck with me from one of my favorite summer camps, a good beginning never ends. I know that every day is not perfect, or I know that at times you might wonder if anything is sinking in as we look at you with blank stares. But I'm here to assure you that your lessons eventually resonate with us. And we appreciate your patience and willingness to help us get to that point of understanding. Personally, I'd like to share that I'm one of those annoying students that just keeps asking the same question over and over again. But I've been grateful to have many teachers in this district who exercised a lot of patience with me. I genuinely appreciate all the extra time and effort because I stand before you here today as one of many examples of the success of fantastic teachers. In fact, I once heard someone say, "Not all heroes wear capes, they teach." So go out there and be the heroes in students' lives. Thank you so much for all your hard work, and welcome back. I hope that you all have a fantastic year.
Tell me about that. I mean, you spoke not only in front of your peers before, but 600 of your basically teachers. that's a skill, and that's something that's great. Tell me about that.
Well, whenever you're talking in front of your teachers, you don't want to mess up. So I got to say, the biggest thing that has helped me with my public speaking is speech and debate. Having the opportunity to speak in front of many different audiences. During the speech season, we go to a different school every Saturday for speech tournaments, and just getting to speak in front of different people often is very, very helpful. another thing that, the speech and debate organization does is they encourage you to speak throughout the community. So there is something called NSDA points. NSDA points is basically a point system in which you are rewarded for going throughout the community and speaking at certain events. So, for example, I present sermons at my church sometimes, and that is a certain number of points. Usually it's 2 to 4, depending on how long it is. But, just getting to practice just allows you to be more comfortable and confident in front of people because, the classic saying is practice makes perfect.
Sure.
And, I've also really enjoyed theater, of part of my public speaking career. And even though the lines are rehearsed, you get a lot, you just get a lot of practice with that, and going off what you've said, a lot of people do struggle with public speaking. One thing that I think would be great is just if everybody were just a part of some public speaking activity, something to really get them out there, really get people comfortable because, every person needs it, whether you're making the presentation at the convocation or not.
Sure.
It is a very, very valuable skill.
Yeah, and I truly believe that if every student had a speech class or were required to do, and maybe not even a class, like you said, it's practice. It's standing up in front of your own peers in class. But and there's a lot of our staff who, they're in front of students every day, but you put them in front of each other or they're a peer group, and it's a whole different level. And some folks would rather not stand up and talk in front of anybody. But so we appreciate it. Well, on the speech and debate team, what's your area that you like to do? What's your competition?
So I do original oratory. So with original oratory, you write a 10-minute long speech about basically anything that you are passionate about. Then during the speech season, we go to speech tournaments and you compete in a certain number of rounds for the day. Typically, it's about 3, 4, maybe even 5 rounds. And you are put against 4 to 5 competitors. And you are ranked from 1 to 6, 1 being the best, 6 being the worst, and lowest score at the end of the day wins.
Awesome. Okay, so it's originality and delivery and content and all those things. Yeah.
It's the perfect package.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. Well, you've been through a lot. I mean, you're a senior in high school. It's 2022, graduating class of 23 and so on. And you've been through it a little bit in the last few years, and we all have, but freshman, sophomore year and really even part of your junior year through the COVID thing. How's the pandemic affected kids your age? And, what's your perspective on the pandemic and just some thoughts about that?
For me, at least, it was extremely challenging just to be disconnected with everybody, Like you said earlier, I always have a smile ear to ear, walking through the hallways because I just love to see everybody. I think COVID has definitely made me see that I take this all for granted, but I just love to see people, love to make interactions with people because during COVID, I only got to interact with my family, and let's just say that can be a little annoying at times.
Sure. Well, we love them all, right?
Yeah.
Limited, right?
Yeah.
Limited amounts, of course.
But, I just felt withdrawn at times, and, this is where social media starts to become a bigger part of our lives. Me and my friends, we started to use other platforms, Snapchat, Zoom, Instagram, you name it. We were always trying to find a way to connect.
Mm-hmm. Good. And I think that's what a lot of kids learned, a lot of people learned through the pandemic is how to do that. But I think the best way is always, people ask me, what's the best way to communicate with Jeff, Mr. Wendorf, is it's face-to-face, in my opinion, and having a conversation. And, text and emails don't do any conversation justice. And usually you get something wrong in there somewhere, but face-to-face is the best. And so appreciate that. But I think kids did learn a lot about communicating in different ways and so on. What are some of the, barring the, instead of the pandemic, what challenges do students have in high school? It's different than back in my day, a long time ago. Lots of distractions. But what's different today? What are the challenges today for a high school student?
So I think one of the biggest challenges facing high school students today is kind of like I said earlier, just trying to find that life balance. So it is challenging to find a way to balance, your school life, your out of school life. And so I just feel like there are a lot of demands on our time, and we just need to figure out a way to make it all work. Also, sometimes it can be so, how would I say this? Sometimes the out of school part can take away from your school part. It goes
Sure.
more than one way.
Sure. Yeah. It's easy to get distracted in one thing, and whether it's chemistry or whether it's, on a social media app, right? You get lost scrolling for sure. But yeah, that's good. Well, I got to tell you, that probably doesn't change when you graduate from high school. It's still a balance, trying to figure out, priorities and spending time and focus on areas that need attention. So that's a life skill for sure. Yeah. Well, you're part of a group called Link Crew. And tell me a little bit about Link Crew, what you think it is, and a little bit of familiarity with what that does, and how do we work through that? Help me understand what you do for freshmen at Hoover High School.
So Link Crew is an organization trying to help freshmen transition to high school. It's all about just making sure that they're comfortable with the high schoolers, making sure that they feel at home at Hoover High School and proud to be a Viking. Then one of the biggest things that I tell them is try to get involved. Getting involved in school activities helps you feel connected, helps you to feel that pride of being at Hoover. And so another thing is that many studies show that being a part of extracurriculars and things around the school actually helps your performance in school and boosts your grades. I gotta say also, though, is another thing that I tell them is try and show true kindness to others. It can be just the little things, saying hi to people in the hallway. It never hurts to be nice to one another. It never does.
Regardless of what grade they're in. Right?
Yeah. Because, one thing that I kind of might go off on a tangent a little bit, but one thing that I've just started to notice throughout the years is, sometimes the upperclassmen, can treat the lower classmen poorly from... we were all there at one point, so I think it just pays to. It doesn't really matter about that barrier. Sure. It doesn't. You just have to be open to new ideas and experiences throughout high school, and as long as every freshman can be open to that, I think they can maximize and utilize their high school experience.
Sure. So Link Crew is a group, an organization, a group of upperclassmen who have volunteered to be the relationship builder for freshmen, right?
Yep.
And so do you stay in contact with them throughout the year? Do you have a certain group, or is it just any and all freshmen?
Yeah, so I have me and my partner, they usually pair us up, and they usually have us pair up. And we are in charge of 10 freshmen. Okay. So we keep in contact throughout the year. I know that towards the exam week, we have something called Cookies and Cram, just trying to help them prepare for exams because, they've never taken an exam before, so they're probably going to have questions. We also have exam study sessions during their freshman seminar. And then one of the last things I believe that we do is it's before the semester ends, and we just sit down with them and, we have a conversation and just welcome them to high school. And it's the beginning of their high school journey. Great.
So you're their kind of a student advisor, if you will, for freshmen. That's awesome to get them a great start. That's great. It's a great program. I know that, and mostly because of folks like you that are involved. And I'd be thrilled if my kids were much younger than they are, that they'd have you or somebody like you and the rest of the Link Crew gang to help them get a great start in high school. Well, Hoover's got a great reputation and an excellent school district. And so what do you think are some of the advantages of attending Hoover High School?
Well, there are a lot of advantages. Hoover is probably one of the best public schools, if not the best public school in the state. we stress academics, arts, athletics, and anyone can find a home in one or all three of those aspects because we're really open. We teach our students to be versatile, to be inclusive of other people. And another great advantage that we have at Hoover is just the large community support, from the academic boosters to our Hoover Booster Club. You know, there's always somebody that's there trying to help and guide our students along the way, whether they're in this district or not. We just have such a great support here in North Canton City Schools. And one of the final advantages, not final advantages, sure, but one of the many advantages is North Canton City Schools invest in their future. You know, we have 2 new schools that are being built right now, new athletic facilities, and, you know, you pass them on Main Street, and the construction's going great there. I'm so excited. You know, I actually have a little cousin that's going to be going there in a couple of years. Awesome. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy that they're going to be a part of that new school. Yeah,
we're very, very fortunate to have not only the community in general to support us and our voters and parents and so on, but our staff is awesome too. So that's great. Well, thank you so much. What are your plans? What do you want to be when you grow up?
So after high school, I do plan on attending a 4-year college. However, I'm unsure of what I'm going to be majoring in yet. I have a lot of options to go through, whether that's music, engineering. I've been kind of thinking about, you know, pre-law engineering, somewhere in that route, maybe even double majoring in it, but I'm not 100% sure.
You don't have to be.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you got a lot of options, and really you have any option you want because you're highly successful. You have some skills that, quite truthfully, few others have, as far as, you know, just speaking and your charisma and your leadership. And I think you'll have a wide open panel of choices for whatever you want to do to change the world, right? And hopefully you are prepared for tomorrow. I'm sure you are, and we wish you all the best. We really appreciate you coming today. Any final thoughts you want to share?
Well, just thank you for having me, and go Vikes.
Yeah, go Vikes. Yep, good. Well, we appreciate you coming. We wish you all the best, and you know, for a senior year, but then after that too. So yeah, great graduation. I look forward to the graduation and that celebration as well. Springtime's always the fun because you get to celebrate, you know, all the great things kids do. So. Well, we thank our listeners for today, and Kosta, you especially, but this podcast is a great way for us to share information about the district with our residents and families, and share and highlight folks that are so inspirational to us and folks that mean a lot to us and really make North Canton City Schools what it is. As always, if you have any questions or comments, suggestions about our podcast, or want to talk about other things, please send us an email at Viking Spotlight at northcantonschools.org. That's our email, vikingspotlight at northcantonschools.org. Also welcome your thoughts regarding this podcast. Get back to me, and I'd be happy to have Kosta back on for a repeat performance.
You know, maybe an end of the year thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Great. Well, next week we'll be having John Kirkpatrick and Jeff Adams of Hammond Construction with us to talk about the new school buildings, and those will open in August. And Mr. Kirkpatrick's the owner of Hammond Construction, and Jeff Adams the vice president of the company and our project manager. So we'll get an update on the buildings and learn all about Hammond Construction, which is a very important business that's in our community and has been around for quite a while. And I know Mr. Kirkpatrick's a Hoover grad, and so yeah. But we're excited to have them on to learn a little bit about the facility project and where it is, where it's going, and what things are happening in the construction world. So hope you'll be able to join us as we talk about these exciting projects for our school district, and wish you all the best, and go Vikings.